my beautiful people. This is your host, Miss Kamora, and welcome to another edition of Heels and Reels, where beauty, fashion, art, and music meet. Today we have the phenomenal, okay, extraordinary Alva Page, y'all. Alva Page. Alva Page. Yes, how you doing? I have been waiting. You have no idea, yo. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have been waiting for this man. Listen, honey.
Okay, honey.
Okay. When I first saw you, it was crazy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me.
Child.
Thank you.
Listen, you come here as many times as you want every week if you want to. I'm just saying, your talent just speaks for itself.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you.
Like,
I appreciate it.
So, like, where are you originally from?
I am originally from Lake City, South Carolina.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
So it's basically about 2.5 hours from here, about close to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Not too far from Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And from Lake City, South Carolina, a little country boy that had big dreams and wanted to move from a small town. Had the big dreams moving from a small town
Yes.
to fulfill those dreams.
Right. And how
Yeah.
did you get into the whole fashion industry? We just gonna jump right into it, y'all. The whole run. I mean, this man is a runway girl. When I saw, let me tell you when we first. Do you know when we first met?
Okay, you're gonna have to refresh my memory on this because it's like I'm going through my head.
He's
like
been all the way around the world.
Okay.
From here to the Caribbean. Okay.
Okay.
We met in Raleigh.
All right.
At a certain showcase rehearsal. It was a private rehearsal.
Okay.
It was I think it was a group of models.
Okay.
And it was a certain class you were holding.
Okay.
For how to runway, how to walk properly. And all that. And this, but you scared me at first. I was like, what is it? You're not supposed to walk. You're supposed to legs back, you do this. But you just, that's how it's going to look, and I'm like, wow, you just broke it down from the bottom up. And I never had anyone do that.
Yeah. I think it's the years of living in New York, working with agencies, working with models, and just working with people in general, because I think every model body silhouette is different. Their
Absolutely.
mechanics is different. So you have to learn as a coach, as a model coach, you learn to adjust that movement to that model.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes a lot of models, they tend to look at one particular model and say, that's going to be my walk. And it's not about that.
Yes, it's about originality.
It's about originality. And you have to also remember too, I am from that era where personality, who are you on the runway? We used to call it back then, what is your signature walk?
Right.
We used to do things
they
like
had
that.
the Naomi walk, the tire, what is your, like, what is a Kim walk? Or what is the,
right.
the Alva walk? What is that?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you bring to the table?
Yeah. What do you bring to the table? And I think that really sparked an essence in me to really fine tune my coaching skills.
Yeah. Because you are natural. I said, hold on. I'll never forget. Wait
Okay.
a minute. I go back to rehearsal. When it got time for like the one-on-one, all the girls, like, they sitting down and we, you walk side by side. I didn't know you was get side by side next to. I said, what is he walking next to? He walked next to me. Y'all, he said, you whispered something in my ear. You said, you think you bad, don't you? I said, absolutely.
Yeah,
I said, absolutely.
It was, it was that
absolutely.
confidence. I wanted that confidence. I wanted because when models come to me, the first thing, when they come or do a class with me, they automatically want to walk, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to walk. But what happens is I just want to see them. I want to know who they are. I want to get to know them.
Right.
So that gives me a storyline that helps me create what I need to create. How do I find that walk out of that model?
Right.
So that really helps. So when I joke around, I'm like, do you think you bad?
Right.
I want to see where your confidence level is.
Yeah,
you know.
like, what
So then,
about?
yeah, right. So if you're like, yeah, I think I'm bad. So then I'm like, okay, now I know where I need to coach her.
Right. Okay.
Because if that confidence level was a little low, then I would say, okay, now how do I need to bring that up to that level? And that's the beauty of it.
Yes, because even with the girls in the class, I was just looking like you took time. It was a class. It was like 18 of us, y'all. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said, okay, now you put your hands like this, and that's the grown woman stance.
Yeah. You remember all of this? Listen, and I was trying.
To this day, I still got to take. I don't forget anything.
Oh,
that memorable.
goodness.
I said that man is the bomb.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you just came out of nowhere. I was like, where did he come from? That's one girl. Oh, that's Alva Page. You don't know? I said, I don't know.
No, don't know.
And I did my research. I said, oh, he's been all the way around the world from here. The Caribbean. You just did the Caribbean
I
islands?
just did Summer Sizzle BVI.
Yes.
I've been a part of that production for they've been going on for 16 years. So I think I've been a part of it for maybe 13 or 13
Wow,
years.
that's a long time.
Yes.
And it's so much fun there.
As their
Yeah.
model coach,
Mm-hmm.
coordinator and production. So,
Yeah.
and it has expanded because, it's a smaller market
Mm-hmm.
in the British Virgin Islands,
Mm-hmm.
but the producer Terry Donovan, he has done amazing work.
I've
And when I
seen
say
it.
amazing work, is the fact that he's brought this idea of fashion and glamour and lifestyle and a destination,
Mm-hmm.
and he's brought celebrities in to host the event. And
Wow.
now we gave the local models, an opportunity where I get to coach them. I get to coach them for a week prior to the show.
They have
And
no idea how lucky they are.
yeah,
I'll be jealous. Like, why he not over here? In
yeah.
North Carolina, bring you. We need you back in Raleigh now.
Yeah, but with that, I
Yeah.
was getting ready to say, but with that also, a lot of those local models get the opportunity to work with a lot of New York designers that they probably wouldn't be able to get to go to New York.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
they get to meet those designers, work with those designers,
Mhm.
and then there's an opportunity where he allowed those models to come to New York, and also those models get to work with those same designers again. And
Mhm.
so they're in that New York scene, that New York Fashion Week,
Yes.
and they get a feel, they get an idea of, is this something that I really want to do?
Right.
You know?
It only takes that one opportunity, that one person to see something in you.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
what I was
yes,
told.
yes.
And I was like 16 years old. I started when I was 15, 16. So no one knows the
Wow.
story.
I know I keep hearing your story like 15, 16. I was like, when did this
I was
happen?
my first runway show was at what is it? What is it called? Fashion the
Okay.
fashion school in New York City.
Oh,
FIT.
oh, FIT?
Yes, FIT. I
FIT?
keep saying it. Is it FIT? Yeah.
Okay.
And I did, I trained, did the whole Barbizon thing.
Okay.
First
Who
runway
hasn't?
show.
Who hasn't done John Casablanca's
Thank you.
Barbizon?
Thank
So,
you. Yes.
but you know what?
Yes.
I know because we're just talking about the Barbizon,
Right.
but it was I did it when I started out,
Oh, you did?
And
Oh.
what is the funny thing about that is the fact that I remember
Mhm.
there was a letter in our mail because I'm from Lake City, South Carolina,
Yeah, yeah.
and I said, "Oh, I want to be famous. I want to be on TV." And all of a sudden,
Mm.
I went to our PO box and pulled out this letter, and it said, "You ever thought about being a model, an actor? John Casablancas." And I was like, "Oh, this is a sign. This is a sign. This is for me." And
Oh, shoot.
and so they end up coming to Florence, South Carolina, and
Wow.
I will never forget this day. And I remember it was probably over the weekend.
Uh-huh.
And my dad, who's my father, who's not living anymore, but
Mhm.
but I remember him say, "You have to take out the trash. You got to do this. You have to do that." And I was like, he was giving me all these
Oh
responsibilities
my
to do
gosh.
before I head to this audition.
Yeah, yeah.
And so finally, I told him, I was like, "If you don't let me go when I become rich and famous, I'm not giving you anything."
I know he's like, boy, if you don't get
My dad was like, "Oh," and so
Yeah.
me and my mom, we went up there, and
Oh my
I've
God.
always been a class act. Like
Right.
I've always been like, I was voted the class clown.
Oh my
I
God.
would do stuff in high school.
You
I
don't take
was
yourself
silly.
seriously. Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
I just
Yeah.
the way I am now, I'm
Yeah.
always just smiling. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yes.
there's
I love it.
peace.
Yeah.
There's peace. I love
It's like
peace.
life
Yeah,
is too
yeah.
short. It's like, come on, enjoy it.
I'm going to enjoy my
Yes.
life.
From one stop. I'm just like, and they're like, Kim, how do you do it? You got to keep going.
You
bro.
have
gotta
to keep going.
You
I
can't
think
sit here in the corner and be like, oh,
yes, yes.
like recently, I had
Uh-huh.
a few friends. We would go to a certain casting. If you
Uh-huh.
don't get casted for that certain show, don't let that knock you off. Maybe something that they're looking for.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's event. It's so many
Mm.
things that go into a production, and you
Mhm.
cannot take it personally. That's what I've learned.
Yeah,
You
and
cannot.
you know what? New York really taught me this, and the late Scott Pollard, who was a designer, and he was a part of the A Team back in the days when Holly Berry was on the cover. He was a
Oh.
part of that styling team,
Mhm.
and I had the opportunity. He was like my mentor. He was my coach,
Uh-huh.
and when I say coach, I mean the coach aspect of. What is styling? What is production?
Mhm.
What is an agency? What all that encompass, right?
Right.
So he really was like, "Okay, you can't cry over spilled milk. Just go ahead and get your cry out. And now we got to get back to work."
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Because I was like, wait,
Yeah.
am I supposed to be offended? I'm like, hold
Yeah.
on, the pause. Let me.
Yes. And then he
yeah.
just said, "Okay, think positive about it. You didn't
Right.
make it. All
Right.
right, move on."
Right.
And but
Right.
for an individual like ourselves, that's hard to swallow, right?
It is. It really is.
You're like, how can I move on? And they, you know, da, 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 da. And then he will put the brakes and be like, okay, now you're going into a tantrum tantrum.
Right.
You know, you're doing, your temper, you're flaring up. Now you're making this thing larger.
Bigger than what it is.
Yes.
My mama checked me because she straight up Trinidadian.
So he would just bring me back in. And then it was like, once I calmed down, I realized, it's like, what was I doing?
Right, you look like, what's that?
Yeah.
I politely got myself. Let me just go ahead and, hey, now, thank you for the invite. And that's it. If you move yourself with class and excellence, that's what's going to proceed from there on. And people are going to look at that like, wow. Yeah, just dust yourself off. Let's go. It's bigger and better things, honey. That's the thing. Bigger and better things, honey. So you've been doing this for 27 years.
Yes.
That is a long child. That's a long time, y'all.
Yeah, it is a long time.
I mean, my gosh.
Before you know it, it'd be 30.
I know. Like, let's see how many years. And what you said to me is your philosophy. Because I did some homework and some research. You know
what? I say so many different things. I know. So I'm trying to
I was like, gosh, how many? They're so in depth. It's crazy. It's bananas. You said that every garment tells a story.
It does.
And that I was like, that resonated with me. I'm like, what? Every garment tells a story.
Every garment tells a story. And I remember, I'm coming from a history perspective because of the era of which I came from, right?
Right.
So, you had television. That was the era of fashion with television and the magazines.
Right.
And when I was growing up in South Carolina, I would basically sneak up in the middle wee hours of the night, right? And at 2:00 it would be Styles with Elsa Clinch. It would be Video Fashion. It would be Video Files. It would be Behind the Velvet Rope. These were shows that would come on in the wee hours, early mornings on a Saturday going into a Sunday, and I will watch and I would hear the journalist or the commentator or the host, and they were talk about the designers and the production and the accessories. And I remember one of the hosts, she talked about Naomi Campbell. And she said, Naomi Campbell can sell a trash bag. And that resonated to me. It's like, okay.
Right.
If she can sell a trash bag, what is it that she has?
Yeah. What is it that she possesses?
What is it? Right.
Yeah.
So then I started doing my homework. I started looking at videos. I started really studying her movements, her art, her craft, just everything about Naomi. And then I said, oh, this is it. Then they had the era of that supermodel, right? You had the Linda, you had the Christy, you know,
Tyra, all that.
You're right. And I looked at those models and I said, Linda Evangelista, they call her the chameleon of the industry.
Yes.
So she always would change her look. So I was like, okay, she changed her look, but what is it? It's like, it wasn't that she could walk, right? She could walk.
Oh,
no doubt about it.
She had a strong walk. Yeah.
But baby, she can transform that face. She can give the hair. Yes. She gives you the look. Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, how do you do that?
Yes.
How do you connect to the camera?
And so I individually, I just looked at him and I said, Linda was this. Then I looked at Christy Turlington, how they say she was a classic beauty, you know, how she was just elegant, just so smooth. And Naomi had that fierce walk, the confidence, the attitude.
It was that fire,
Yes,
but it wasn't cockiness.
It wasn't, no.
It's a fine line between.
There is a fine line. Yes.
I see that. I'm like, and I don't ever want to be that. I wasn't raised that way. You know, it's like, where does cockiness meet confident? You know, you got to find.
But that's when we have to learn how to separate the two, because sometimes in right now with social media, we say anything and they're like, oh, no, they're not humble, or they're too rude, or they're too cocky, and
yes.
And it's
and
like,
I'm like, what?
But you know what? That stems from how we've been brought up. We've always, don't do that. Don't do this. This is what we need to do. Yeah. But we surpassed that now.
Yeah, my parents are very. My mom, she brought me into, like, she had me. That was my outlet.
Right.
The minute I got into the barbers, I think she just kind of knew, like, you really want to do this? She looked me in my eye. Yeah, absolutely, Mom.
You're gonna do it.
And I said, yeah. You sure you're gonna do this? You want to do this? Okay, now. And after that whole year was over with Barbizon, I walked for Kimora and Lee Simmons. Wow. Baby fat. My first show. I was about to cry. I said, Mama, I said it. That's what, to me, I made it. Yeah. At 16, 17, I said, I made it. That's my stamp.
That's your stamp.
And I don't go around telling folks, oh, this is my portfolio. You don't have to do all that and pump your chest out. You know, even the girls today, you don't have to puff your chest out.
No.
If you know you the bomb, just sit back and just relax, honey.
Just relax. You do what you do.
Right.
You know,
You just
I think.
yeah.
And you know what? And 27 years, like I said again, it goes through these different eras, right? So I know what era I'm in, and this is the reason why I can sustain so long and I'm still relevant.
Still,
you know, is because I'm reading the times and I know where to interject and where not to interject. You know, I know how to move and when there are times where you need to be at peace. You know?
Kind of like pull back.
You need to pull back. Yes.
Because I had to do that this year. I was like, let me just pull back a minute.
You have to. You
Reset.
have to. And it's not. And you know, most people think like I fail or I gave up or it's not. It's none of
that.
No,
it's not that.
Yeah. It's a mental thing. You know, you have to take back. It's. I was listening to on my way here. It's like mental health.
Yes.
You know, and
very
I
serious
said,
thing.
really, that's really what I did after when the COVID really hit.
Yeah.
That was my break of saying, what else could I do?
Right.
What else can I do besides fashion?
Right.
So I got into the dog show world.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. He is a dog. Yes. Child. Yeah. Yes. His dog. Oh my. What is it? What? It's a big Pomeranian.
It's not a Pomeranian, but it's in the Spitz family, and his name is Sterling. And
Spitz family. Okay.
It's in the Spitz family, but it's a Quezon.
Quezon.
Right. Most of the people like to say a Keyshawn.
Okay. Yeah, Keyshawn.
But it's a Quezon.
Quezon.
Yeah,
okay.
Quezon.
Oh my God,
it's a
beautiful
Dutch
dog.
breed.
Oh,
Thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Look at it.
Oh my
yeah.
God. I was like, so he's a man of many talents.
He's a grand champion, so I'm
happy.
Yes,
congratulations. I was like, every time I see it, he get another award. No, I'm like, go ahead, Sterling. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go
so
ahead.
he's on his little break too, because he's still maturing. He'll be 3 in December, so they really start to mature at round about 3, 4, 5. That's when he's gonna really blossom.
Yeah, well, he blossoming now.
Yeah.
I thought it was 6, 7. I said, how do you look? I said, what in the world?
Because I'm keeping that coat up, right?
I know. Hey, come on,
let's brush. Yes.
Oh my gosh! And also, you said model's role is not to compete with fashion.
Right.
To communicate with precision, intention, and elegance.
Yes.
I love it.
So let me explain that. I think a lot of people are competing with fashion. That's the reason why I said, right?
Absolutely.
Competing with, like, I got to be a part of this. I got to get this.
I have to be in this show, every single show.
Or, you know, it's like, stop.
Slow down.
Look at what you've accomplished, so then you'll know where your next move will be. And that's something that I've learned over the years. You know, I've done X, Y, and Z.
Right.
There's a part where you have to say, now where do I take this X, Y, and Z? Now I need to move to this level.
Right.
And I've seen where a lot of models, you know, they would do that. You know, they was like, they're constantly going at it.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? Back, but I can't be around like weird energy. I can't do it. I can't.
You have to. I mean, well, that's what you know. You know, dealing with this industry, everything is weird,
is
right?
Let you tell it out. So, and then you're like, what?
So even down to the production people, down to the camera people, down to the hosts, the designers.
What in the world?
But you have to remember, you're in a field where you're in a creative field.
Yeah.
So you know, as being, you know,
you're
creative.
Be amongst the masses.
You're gonna be, but we're so emotional with our art.
I think emotional, eclectic,
Yes.
It's like,
it's our baby.
It is.
So we're gonna defend it. We're gonna, you know, not let anybody. And it's good to a certain extent. You know, then like I said again, you have to just like sit back. Yeah.
It's not about the quantity, it's the quality.
The quality. I remember you saying that on one of your other shows.
That's my motto.
It's the quality.
Like I can't, you know, it's like they ask you to do this showcase, for example.
Right.
Oh, you bet next year, but it's the same stuff, honey. I have to elevate, honey.
You do. And then you know what? And I'm gonna give you this advice is the fact that, and especially because, you know, in North Carolina, it's not the fashion capital of the world, right?
Yeah.
But what the opportunities that there are plenty of opportunities here in North Carolina, especially in the Virginia area, that a lot of people are attending. I'm seeing more. They're attending these shows and things of that nature, which I'm glad that they are, especially the North Carolina models. I'm glad that they're branching out to different other sectors, or, you know, if that's the right word to use, but, you know,
different states.
Different states.
Yes,
you know, I'm always happy to see that, because I feel like once you've completed this home base here in North Carolina or Raleigh, because I live in Raleigh now,
right.
It's time to grow. It's time to move on.
Right.
And most models that know me, I'm always like, go. Leave,
you
know.
Right, Right,
I'm like, go do something else.
Go, Kim. Go to Paris. Yeah,
right.
Go
to New York. Go to Paris.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to do.
Just
we have technology now. We got Google.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's like, but I'm scared. You'll be all right.
You will be all right.
You'll be okay, honey.
Yes.
Just swallow your pride. Swallow that confidence. Let's go, honey. It's go time.
That's what it is. Last night I attended. Not last night, but Saturday I attended one of my friends' launching, and for years she's been trying to get me to come to one of her events, and I finally made it because it was like the summer sizzle didn't intervene. So she did it, and then some of the models that came, and they were like, "Oh my God, I heard your name," and blah, blah, blah. So and I was like, "Okay, great." And so, and then some of the models, they would ask questions, and then I'm like, and one of the parents, I think she was from Georgia, and she said, "Well, my daughter has done this in Georgia," and I was like, "Okay. Have you gone to New York?
Right.
Have you gone to LA?
Right. Miami, Florida.
Miami, Florida. Go out. Do this other thing.
Right. You can't. If not, you'll be stuck in the box.
Right.
I mean, I didn't grow up here, to be stuck.
And it's like, what does she want to do? What is the next step? And then she said, well, she's only 5'5". Okay. All right. So, and so the young lady, she came and she talked to me, and she's like, well, I know I want to do all the high fashion. Mm-hmm. And she said, I'm only 5'5". And I was like, okay, you know that. Right. You know that. I know that. Right. So what are we going to do? How do because we already know.
How do you market yourself?
But also too, we already know what the industry wants, right?
The standard,
the standard, right? They need it to be tall. You're talking about Louis Vuitton, right?
Right.
But unless you are an influencer, unless you have, this what you call it,
brand
with yourself.
Yeah.
Come on,
Right. Other than that,
right?
I mean, because if you have a one brand, let's say BCB, whatever,
right?
They don't give a crap if you're 5'2" or 5'8".
Yeah,
they'll take you.
Because it's a new era, and I think really now what I want to do is really coach models now and say understanding this era, right? Understanding this period.
It has to be the backstory,
right?
I think they just want to get out, like you said, and just walk. No, it's more to it, honey.
You have to find out how do you maneuver in certain areas.
Yes,
I've done that. I didn't just jump into runway coaching. When I left North Carolina, moving to New York, that was a big step for me. That was absolutely. That was in 2006.
Oh wow!
And how I remember that was during that time it was the late Pastor Frank Summerfield. Mm-hmm. And Word of God Fellowship. Mm-hmm. And I heard this voice saying, it's time for you to leave Raleigh, North Carolina. And I was just like, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So then my friend gave me this book to read, and I read this book. Mm-hmm. And so I went to church that day, and he said, and some of you all, he started preaching. He said, and some of you all right now, God is telling y'all to move, get on out of here, go to New York, go. I said,
that was
I said, okay.
If nothing else told you to move,
and I sold everything out of my apartment.
Are you serious?
I sold everything out of my apartment.
That's how strong the energy was.
Listen, it was just like everything connected.
Wow.
Everything connected.
Yeah.
But here's a challenging part, right? Mm-hmm. Got to New York, was supposed to stay with a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
She never came and picked me up. Not to this day. I was supposed to stay in the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything. So
right.
Like the Bronx,
I know about the Bronx. Yeah.
So here I am on the train, and I could have gave up. I could have thought all these negative thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. But I remember reading this book, and in this book, it's like, you got to stay positive. You got to look forward. And I said, you know what? There is a reason. I always say there is a reason this happened. Yeah. What is it? And I remember just taking my luggage, walking around not Times Square, where the garden is, Penn Station.
Yeah.
Not knowing where I'm going to go, right?
Oh,
and I said, okay. And I just said, okay, God. I said, it's me and you. You got me here.
Right.
I said, you told me to move here.
I'm here.
I said, no, what is the next step?
Right.
And the Holy Spirit just said, look up. And I looked up, it said hotel. And I went in the hotel. Now, mind you, I had money because I sold everything. When I said I sold everything.
Everything.
What? Yes.
Oh my
Even stuff that people gave to me free, I sold it.
Oh my God. So you had money, you had coins.
It wasn't that I didn't have money.
Right.
I had the coins
because
I couldn't go back to North Carolina. Right. So, but I stayed there. And then I got in the hotel and I said, okay, God, what's next?
Right.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And he said, go to bed.
What?
So I went
to go to bed. Okay, I'm
so
sorry.
I go to bed, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I said, "Okay, God, I'm doing this." Because
Right.
the whole time I'm like, "You got me here."
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh my God.
I want to make sure that I was listening to the right voice, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm in the hotel or the motel or whatever,
yeah.
and I said, "Okay, what's next?" He said, "Open up that phone book." I opened up the phone book, and it went straight to Housing Authority.
Oh,
All the houses, all the apartments.
yeah,
I just opened it up, right?
yeah,
So then I just started calling, and I didn't even know it was $50 something a night. Remind you, I had money.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that night, the next day, I just had to find another place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even know during that time it was called basically like a hostel type.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it sound- yeah,
yeah. But then it said, you have your room, but then you have to share the bathroom, whatever. I didn't
Yeah.
care. It was $55 an hour.
Right. New York, man, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a deal.
to make a long story short, then
Right.
I end up meeting one of my friends there, and they introduced me to one of their friends. And for 3 days, I was actually going by the office, the agency, to meet his friend. I did not meet him those 3 days because he was styling a job. And during that time, I don't know if you ever heard of Hype Hair magazine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
He was a stylist for Hype Hair
Nice.
magazine.
That was big.
So he was constantly styling. And then his friend that owned the agency came and he said, "You've been here for 3 days, so what's going on?" And so he said, "Come on over here." And I talked to him in his office, and I said, "Oh, my name is Alva Page." I gave him the big spiel. And I'm a runway coach, and I want to become the New York, and blah, blah, blah. And he looked at me, and he said, "Oh, child, nobody knows you. You're going to learn. I'm going to teach you how to book some models."
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Now that's some realistic stuff for your ass. That's some realistic stuff. That's
all right.
I mean, you come in like,
So this is what we talked about earlier, like how do you change that narrative, right? How do you change that negative into a positive? Because my brain was like, did he just try to cut me down? Did you try to cut my confidence down? Like, I don't roll like that. That's how my brain, right?
Yeah.
And then the Holy Spirit said, shut up and learn.
You gotta listen to that. Yeah.
And when I did that, let me do that again. So all of a sudden, when I did that, I learned so much about the industry itself, how it works.
From the bottom up, yeah.
Yes. I had to get a notepad, and during that time they used to call it the fashion catalog, right?
Yeah,
It was all the fashion weeks and all the editors. It was a big black thick book. It was thicker than this, right?
Jeez.
And literally, I had to write down all the magazines. I had to write it down. The magazines, the editors, the stylists, the contributing.
Oh no!
I was remembering names. Then he started attending events, and he would bring me to those events.
Yeah.
And then I would hear the names, and then I could go back and be like, that's such and such from Marie Claire, that's such and such from Hopper, or that,
such from Essence.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, didn't even know he was training me.
Wow.
Yes. And that same guy is the same guy. His name was Scott Pollard, the late Scott Pollard that I told you about. That was a part of the styling team of A-Team. Yes, he was the one that really mentored me, pushed me into it, and he really taught me about fashion, how to dress.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was doing it.
You walk in, honey, Alva coming with his cape on. I'm like, go ahead.
But here's the kicker, right?
What?
So I told him, I said, well, I may not have X amount of days, because I probably have to go back to North Carolina. He said, well, I have a brownstone. I have an extra room, and I'll charge you $250 a month. I said, great. I said, let me go ahead and pay you for X amount of months.
Yeah.
So that I can get myself, because I had the money. Remember, I had the
money.
money.
Right. You had the coins. Right. That wasn't,
So I'm like, let me go ahead and pay this. So just in case, so I can be looking for a job.
Right.
So I paid $246, right about closely about 4 months.
Okay. That's good.
Right.
That's
so
good
it's
time,
around about $800, $900 some dollars. I went on and paid him, gave it to him. Right. And that is when he really started pouring into me.
Because he knew you were serious.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The art.
They want to see it. Yeah.
And he had one room, and it was nothing but vintage. It was the Jean-Paul Gaultier, the Christian Dior's. And that reminded me, he was a stylist then, but he wasn't styling. He started running the agency. And I would go, he was like, I would vintage. Never forget, we had to go into the city. And then he said, where are you going? And I was like, oh, I'm going to the city with you. Yeah. He said, not with that on. He said, "You look like a country bumpkin."
Oh,
And I was like,
I was waiting for him to say, "Oh, you country boy now? We got hook
I
you
was
up.
like, "No, this is
We got
great. This
clean
is
you up.
good." He said, go get this X, Y, and Z. So that really taught me. And he was like, "You always, when you're at the office, you need to have a jacket. You need to have this." That's why I was so mad. I was like, normally I would bring my collar.
Yeah, I was like, hold
so
on.
now it made me realize I got to get back on the
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. You know, you had to take a little hiatus, but you know, it's okay. What would you tell? Because we're about to wind down. It's so much to unpack. Right? You got to come back for part 2.
Okay.
Y'all, he'll be back for part 2. Don't worry. Y'all. They're like, wait, asking that. Oh, my friend. Okay. What would you tell the models that are out today? The new models that are coming out. I just want to be a model. I just want to walk. It's like, hold on. There's more to it. And they don't do no type of history. That's a great question. Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I would personally tell them if they want to, get into the modeling, go to shows. Don't try to participate in everything. Mm-hmm. Just go, sit down, look at the show, see if there's something that you want to do. See if, work backstage.
Yes, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Yes. Be a dresser. Help the stylist or help the makeup, the hair, do something so you can get a feel to see if this is what you really want to do. And that's probably a little old school for a lot of the new people.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah.
Because I know you want to rush into it.
Right.
But I think you get a better understanding of the industry. You get do I really want to do this? And then you get to see models. You get to see good models. You get to see bad models. You get to see
it's a mixture.
A mixture. Yeah. Get to, and I mean, it is what it is,
right.
But you get to see a mixture of those models, but you get to see the behaviors.
Right.
Because you're gonna see all of that backstage.
Right. And I'm gonna say something that might tickle some people, but there's a difference between a regular showcase runway and a haute couture runway show. There's a difference. I'm just saying there's a difference. After he said I'm gonna leave. There's a difference.
There is a difference. There are different tiers. That's just like anything else.
Okay.
There's like we in grade school. There are different schools, right? You got different colleges, so you're always going to have different tiers,
right?
And there are smaller productions, and then you have those big productions, and you have those elaborate productions. Those productions that we know of that we really try to aim for. We see the Louis Vuitton, we see the Dolce, we see all that.
Yes.
Those are those bigger productions. That's bigger budgets. They have a very huge budget.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking about in the millions. So this ain't no 2,000, 10,000, 15,000.
Right.
This
is like in the million.
This is in
500 grand enough. Yeah.
This is in the
They're not playing.
They ain't playing, right?
Yeah.
You can put a big old you building a stadium inside of a castle. Come on.
I remember 16. Kamora Lee was not playing. She was like, I want this. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right. So so I just say that you really understand that. But those are different tiers with it, and then to learn the verbiage,
Absolutely.
learn the language. I would hear people. It's and this is to everybody. I heard one lady, and she was like, "Oh, I like haute couture," and I was like, "It's not haute. It's haute. It's HOUTE and OTOU haute. Haute
couture. Yeah, haute couture.
So pronunciation. That's something that I listen to people, and I'm like,
it's
boy, y'all can take some words up.
It's haute couture.
It is not.
It is not.
So so it's just the different tiers, the different ladders with it. But you just have to know where you
fit in, right? Yeah. Like one collection, one presentation, one story at a time.
Yeah, and you present. So
yes. I was so glad having you.
I know it was so short. I'm trying to pack everything in.
He's like, I'm just saying, hold on. You have to come back for part 2. He will be back, y'all. Trust and believe that. Yes, he will. Tell him where they can find you at. Tell the folks.
Everything is by my name, Alva Page, ALVAPAGE. It's on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Twitter. That's my friend. Twitter. He like Twitter. So you can Google and
It was a joy. It was a pleasure having you.
I know.
I don't want you to leave right now.
I want some. It's like, you know what? I really want to tell all the stories, like when I auditioned, for MTV and all of that.
Oh,
so
a lot of people. Who's the models? Who's who? It's coming to you. Listen, part 2. Keep in touch. Heels and Reels. This is your host, Miss Kamora. You can find me on all forums. Well, no, Facebook and IG only. I don't have TikTok enough, so I ain't doing all that. Anyway.
Well, I have TikTok, but I don't even use it like that. That's bad.
That's bad. You bad. Well, you can find me on Facebook, y'all, Kimora Ambrose, and Instagram, KIMORA_A. I love y'all. Till next time. Stay tuned. It's gonna be part 2, y'all. That's what I mean.
Yes.